MS Now White House reporter Jake Traylor joins the conversation with new reporting this morning about the White House struggle to keep President Trump on message. Jake, good morning. So there are the things that Americans care about, the war in Iran and its implications for gas prices, oil prices, food prices, everything that's happening in this country right now. Those are top of mind. And there are the things that President Trump wants to talk about, like reflecting pools and giving $1.8 billion to January 6 convicted felons. So how is the White House, behind the scenes, internally, managing those two tracks?
Yeah, Willie, it's a great question. In short, not very well. This new reporting that me and my colleague Surin have essentially illuminates how the White House is struggling right now to keep President Trump on messaging. And you just laid it out there and talked about it at the top of the show. There's a really clear juxtaposition here between what President Trump is saying and then maybe what the Republican Party is trying to push in terms of messaging on affordability. Trump is focused on this anti-weaponization fund. He's focused on purging unloyal Republicans in his party. He's focused on the ballroom project, the reflecting pool, the ARC, the construction projects in D.C. kind of go on. But I was just in Texas yesterday talking with voters. What do they care about? Of course, affordability, gas prices, inflation, the gas pump. There's a new mandate from inside the White House from Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, a White House official told me, which is essentially the president is going to go down whatever track he's going to. We are not going to try and control his messaging here. He is his own messenger. We've heard this before. Instead, the issue falls to the cabinet officials within the administration. This White House official told me that Susie Wiles has told cabinet officials in multiple meetings, the plan is for you guys to be the ones to stick to the script, stick to affordability. President Trump's going to go and do his own thing. And the problem with that, as you can imagine, is we're seeing what we're seeing, where the president in real time is saying he doesn't care about midterms, while the White House is trying to say they are the party of affordability. We spoke with a couple of former White House officials and political advisors to Trump, and these are people that don't hate Donald Trump. These are not people that used to work for him and now despise him. These are people still MAGA aligned that are saying the strategy right now is not working. I want to read a couple of these quotes. One former White House official said to me, while beautifying our nation's capital is surely important and appreciated, if you don't live, work, or visit D.C., you don't really reap the benefits of the president's passion projects. And they went on to say that what people are feeling right now is $4.50 for gas. That's conservative. And that's the real passion point for Americans. Another former political advisor to Trump said that I think it's a failure on the part of his staff. They're not focused on the issues that Americans are focused on, which is obviously affordability. So this is clearly something that's not working for the White House right now. I asked that current White House official, is there anything inside that's going to change? Are there internal strategy conversations about a way to rein the president in, get him back on message? This is what a White House official said to me. There is no new approach. You can't do that with Trump.
Well, that's the answer. It might just be an exercise in futility trying to keep this president on message. Remember, they tried to have events about affordability over the last several months. He would get up on stage in front of a crowd and mock the very idea of affordability as a Democratic hoax. The new reporting available online. MS Now's Jake Traylor, thank you very much. There was supposed to be, remember Susie Wiles was supposed to be the adult in the room in this, and she's the whisperer, and she's going to keep him in line and keep him on message. Is there anyone, J. Mart, who's in that room able to do that for her? Is there a single person who can say, Mr. President, you're off
Name
here?
one.
No, because job preservation means that you don't say that to him. You think somebody's going to take him aside and say, Mr. Trump, you're dragging down the party. Your message is a disaster. We need you to go out there and actually read the script and stop doing your riffs. And by the way, lose the gold. No, of course not. That's never going to happen because they want to let Trump be Trump because that lets them keep their jobs. But for the Republican Party, that's not getting the job done. And I think it's important to drill down for 10 seconds on this gap between the primary electorate and the larger general election voters. It's never been this vast, right? I mean, Trump is so focused on his own primary, but if he has no appetite to expand his appeal or his party's appeal beyond the primary, and he looks at results like Texas and thinks, well, shoot, I'm doing great. Paxton wanted to walk, and that's true. But that is a fraction of the larger universe of the American voter. But that's all he thinks about. And he's always been a candidate who lives in a primary forever. He's never tried to expand his appeal. And that works when Democrats are on their heels and he can attack Democrats. It doesn't work when you're the one in charge.